What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Look podcast on Insane Games TV, the Monday after round two. Kind of had some technical difficulties, almost like the Chiefs offense yesterday.
Oh,
This is the man goddamn with your boy Yosoy, ACWeezy.
I
Austin's a little, if you could tell the viewers at home, Austin's a little perturbed, if you will. Austin,
wait,
what's
hold-
on your mind?
wait, hold on. Before we had our technical difficulties, you went on this whole rant. You said you wanted to redo it. Now you're gonna stray
It's
away
fine.
from it.
It's fine.
It was a nice relationship-oriented analogy.
it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought
okay.
it was good.
Well, it's the Monday after.
Run it back.
We'll get back into it. Reel it back in. It's the Monday after, and it's a sad day. It's a somber day. It's like being in a 9-month relationship. You know, the first 6 months, a lot of seeing each other, a lot of happiness, a lot of opportunity. Then 6, 7, 8 months in, a little bit less and less opportunity. Only the best survive. In relationships. Dr. Phil said that, I believe. I'm paraphrasing. And then, there was one last chance to grab the ring, to win it all. And then it's gone. Well, welcome to the Monday after the Super Bowl. We have broken up with the NFL for another year or so until September, I guess you could say. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are your Super Bowl champions.
To go on to what you're saying, Tyler, as I just said, I love that analogy. For me, the football season is like an elongated Christmas. Christmas, it's one day, it's short. You wait, technically a whole year for it. But for me, from the Super Bowl until the preseason games, that feels like waiting until Christmas. I mean, like, the football season is an elongated Christmas. It only comes around once a year. Yes, it lasts longer than just 24 hours. But for that being said, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself until next August. I mean, we get to, midsummer, you start to have some fantasy football talk, and we do our, power rankings or whatnot. I guess the draft a little bit. But Tyler, the next, 2-3 months, I'm just going to be beside myself. I mean, what do I do on Sundays now? There's no football to watch. I mean, Scott Hansen, my favorite guy in the whole world, I don't get to hear his voice for another 5-6 months.
His beautiful angelic voice. I mean, a lot of pickleball is probably going to be played for you. Maybe get into a new hobby, get back into snowboarding. I know it's snowing up there. I know I'm going to be playing a lot of golf on Sunday. Nothing better to do. It's tough. The Monday after the Super Bowl is always like, it's like almost like the new year, It's like, all right, what are my goals? What am I going to do with my life, And then you're like striving to be a better person, no more football that's overtaking your whole entire life. Not that it's a bad thing, but then you ruin your goals. You're left in despair. You're wondering what else there is out in the world, because truly, I know I'm speaking for myself, and I'm probably speaking for us, and football is definitely our favorite sport to watch, to play, to just indulge our whole entire lives into it. So this is definitely the last hurrah in the No Look podcast, maybe for, a little bit sprinkled in here and there for free agency news, the draft, like you said. And then, I mean, I'm going to go balls to the walls during preseason. I know that for a fact.
Well,
we were stripped of it last year.
Yeah. So, just in case the viewers at home were confused by what you said, Tyler, not the last of the No Look podcast itself, but for a football themed podcast primarily. We'll still be here. When there was no sports at all, Tyler, we were doing our brackets, which if you do follow our TikTok, we're posting some throwback clips. I think we posted our, favorite sex scenes.
Yes.
We ranked on our TikTok. We got some good clips going on there. Tyler and I are going to be posting daily.
That was one thing I was going to say. Football season's over, but, March is right around the corner. Bracket season's going to be hot and heavy.
So they're right now full swing into March Madness, right? They're gonna do it at like 1 or 2 locations.
Oh, word! So we might have to start bracket season a little early.
I'm pretty sure I saw they're gonna have maybe half the field in Indianapolis, another half in like somewhere in Iowa or something, and kind of do like a bubble type situation. Which, Tyler, I'm still pissed off about, because I remember, I mean, this had to have been a year or two after we graduate high school, so circa 2014, we'll
Oh,
say.
here we go.
And well, I mean, you said here we go. It's a very
Here's the
valid
rant.
concern. No, this is well, listen. If you think this is the rant, then strap in your fucking
This is
seatbelt, buddy guy. But
this is the rant I've heard already.
right,
I know it's coming.
listen, they announced that Albany, the Times Union Center, was going to host the men's NCAA tournament. Guess what fucking year it was? The goddamn pandemic. I didn't get to go watch anyone play. It was going to be in my backyard. I was going to go get cheap beer and popcorns and have a great time with my pals. But it didn't happen. Unfortunately, Tyler, obviously, COVID-19 hit. And I'm still salty about it, Tyler. Like you said, you've heard this rant before. You're probably going to hear it again. And
well, let's
just
reel
what
it
it
back
is.
in real quick because Austin is feeling very spicy today. Call him jalapeno cook because my boy is a spicy. He's feeling all sorts of some way. Austin, how do you feel? Immediate reaction. Super Bowl 55. Immediate reaction to it.
I mean, if I had to give it a one bite review, Tyler, I just because of the teams and the history that was made by Tom Brady, I'll give it a 6.2. Other than that, I mean, you told me the number one offense in the NFL isn't even going to hit double-digit points. That's just completely egregious. Tyler, as you stated last week, and you posted on the TikTok today, you did call Gronkowski scoring the first touchdown for the Buccaneers, but I also said, if you remember, the team that gets to 30 points is going to win the football game. And what happened? The Buccaneers scored 31 points. I think they scored 31, 31, 32, 31. How many games they play? 4? They scored like 31 or 32 points in every game they played, and that's really all they needed.
Back to that Gronkowski touchdown. If you look at the replay on the TikTok at No Look Podcast, follow us on TikTok. Cheap plug right there. You see the fake handoff to Leonard Fournette. It was almost like an homage to us.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Austin Syke, throw to Gronk, touchdown.
I know. I was feeling good about my prop bets too. I won the coin toss. I think we both said over for the national anthem, but I think we'll dive into that later. Tyler, I mean, obviously you were on the opposite side of the fence as far as predictions and hoping how the game went. I mean, do you think this lived up to the hype, or were you pleased? I don't know.
I mean, I was super happy that the Chiefs lost. As a Raiders fan, I just grew up always hating the Chiefs. We have to play them twice a year. Patrick Mahomes is, an incredible quarterback. Obviously played with an injury that whole entire night. An interesting stat I saw on ESPN. They said he ran for 497 yards before he threw the ball.
Wow.
Throughout the whole entire game. That's the most in this season, obviously. There was a huge reshuffle. I think we were talking about it maybe, or I talked about it a lot, but there was a huge reshuffle in the line. Their guard caught COVID, so they had to reshuffle the line, which, I mean, I think it made a huge difference in the Bucs psyche. They were like, we're going to come after Patrick Mahomes every play. We're going to rush the quarterback. There was no stopping the Bucs defense. You could have put any quarterback out there, Joe Montana, anybody. The Bucs defense would have won that game for the Patriots, or the Bucs, I should say. Might as well be the Patriots.
Yeah, right.
Twice. No, I keep saying the Patriots because it's so weird. Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl, and you just want to say that it's like almost synonymous. The Patriots, Tom Brady, Super Bowl, but now I have to remember Bucs, Tom Brady, Super Bowl. But I think the thing that I was most impressed with, and I said this last week, I think the defensive scheme for the Bucs was absolutely impeccable. They kept everything in front of them, no long shots. But the defensive front, man, they got to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. They got to Patrick Mahomes almost every single play. They were causing a ruckus on him, and I wasn't worried about Tyreek Hill after the first half.
I mean, yeah, you kind of called it. They had to shut down Tyreek Hill. I also called it. So, I mean, we're going back and forth here, Tyler. Between the two of our opinions, I think we're almost close to 100%. I said Travis Kelce was going to ball out. He did. He led the team in yards, receptions, all that good stuff.
Which wasn't hard.
Why? Because they were covering up Tyreek?
They had two guys on Tyreek the whole entire time. It left open a soft middle for Travis Kelce to slime his way in like he normally does. Levante
Slime.
David,
He says
Levante,
slime.
Levante David played an absolutely impeccable game on Travis Kelce. He probably shut him down most of the times. Travis Kelce could have easily had 200 yards if Levante David didn't play as good on Travis Kelce. If you want to look on how to stop Travis Kelce, it's not that hard. Look at Levante David's tape in the Super Bowl 55. He pretty much shut him down the whole entire game. I think Darren Waller would have been a better option for the Chiefs that game. He probably would have scored 2 touchdowns. Hell, even Gronk had a better game than Travis Kelce.
I guess if we're going off solely touchdowns, Tyler, I'm not sure if that was kind of sarcastic on your part or not. I mean, I'm looking at the stat lines right now. Travis Kelce, 15 targets, 10 receptions, 133 yards. Gronk, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 67 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, Tyler, I mean, obviously, we talked about it beforehand. The Buccaneers defensive front, excuse me, maybe the best in the league. Obviously, now they prove that they are, after, if you could say that, after winning the Super Bowl. But do you think it's more of a testament to their strength or the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs were wildly understaffed on the offensive line?
I wouldn't say wildly understaffed. They were missing one guy.
I think they had 2 backups starting.
They reshuffled. They were missing one guy, so they reshuffled the line around. I don't know. I mean, granted, I personally think that even whoever was the guy that was out for the Kansas City Chiefs, they would have not stopped the way the Bucs were coming after the quarterback last night. Like I said, you could have put anybody out there, the Bucs would have stopped them. Sue was rushing the passer. Vita Vea, he was in the trenches, dog. He didn't get any tackles, any sacks. He may have, but this dude was pushing the Kansas City Chiefs lineman into Patrick Mahomes before, JPP or Sue or Sack Barrett, if you will, coming on the edge. It was just a bad day to be Patrick Mahomes. And he's obviously going to get foot surgery. He's going to heal up and come back and have another MVP season. I personally hope that it's the same matchup next year, so there's no excuses. You had Brady beat Kansas City once in the Super Bowl. Let's run it again. Let's see what's going to happen this time. I honestly can see these two teams lining up again next year in Los Angeles, California for Super Bowl 56.
Yeah.
I know you're going to say the Packers, blah, 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 blah. You're always going to say the Packers, but
I mean, it's hard to say the Packers, I guess, if the team that won it all this year comes back with the same exact players.
It's going to be tough. They're not going to have the same exact players.
I mean, it was crazy. You're talking about Vita Vea. I mean, this guy, not only was he in the trenches, he was also blocking. He played fullback on a couple plays on offense. I mean, the guy looks like the refrigerator out there. Franco.
Did you see that one play where he literally exploded off the line and threw the linebacker like 15 feet backwards?
Oh, yeah. No, dude was just, I mean, he's just a giant slab of muscle. Yeah, he's just like, you can't move the guy. He's a brick wall. But I don't know. I mean, we got Tom Brady winning the MVP.
Deservedly.
201 yards, 3 touchdowns, sure. 6.9 yards per pass. I mean, his rating was good, but I mean, he didn't have to do anything. You look at Mahomes on the other side, he had to pass the ball 49 times. Fournette had 89 and a touchdown. Ronald Jones added 61 yards. Gronkowski, I mean, I don't understand, Tyler. If there was a bet, which I'm sure there was on some sort of site or whatever people use, that Gronkowski led the Buccaneers in receiving, so someone made a lot of money off that. Because,
for sure.
I mean, 6 receptions, 67 yards. The next closest was Leonard Fournette, 4 receptions for 46 yards. I mean, technically, you could say that the Chiefs' defense did their thing. I mean, Chris Godwin, 2 receptions, 9 yards. Antonio Brown, 5 receptions, 22 yards. Mike Evans, 1 reception, 31 yards. That had to be the focal point of their defensive scheme to stop those guys.
They didn't stop them, Austin. They did the opposite.
What did I just read off? A fucking scratch-off ticket?
I don't know if you watched the game, but the Chiefs secondary blew the game for the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday. There was the defensive pass interference on Breland. There was the pass interference on Matthew. There was the pass interference on Breland again. I mean, there was all these penalties, and yeah, everybody's gonna say, every Chiefs fan, Chiefs Kingdom, Red Nation, whatever the fuck you want to call yourselves, you're fucking losers. You lost to the Raiders, then you lost to the Bucs. You led the league in penalties all year. You were top 5. I don't want to hear shit on penalties. You were doing that all year. If you didn't have Patrick Mahomes, the golden boy, leading your team on offense all year, you probably would have went 8-8. You would have been just like the Bears.
All right, here
But
we go.
instead, you had Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, probably the best tandem on offense. I'll give your boy Travis Kelce the props. But that Chiefs secondary, you cannot say shut them down. They lost the game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, if you heard what I said and you didn't have fucking steam pouring out of your ears from just wanting to go off on a rant opposing what I'm saying, I said their defensive scheme did their job because they shut down the top 3 receivers and held them.
They didn't shut them down, though.
How is 31 plus 9 is 40 plus 22, 66 yards combined between their top 3 receivers?
Look at the targets for Mike Evans. Look at the targets for Godwin.
That goes hand in hand with what I'm saying because they were covered.
But I'm confused how you say their defensive scheme lived up to what they were doing. That makes no sense. Their defensive scheme fucked up. They had so many errors. Breland got burnt by Evans. Evans would have had a 50-yard touchdown if Breland didn't trip up his feet.
Well, that's part of the game plan. No free scores.
But that's why they lost. That's why you get Gronk scoring 2 touchdowns in the goal line. That's why you have playoff Lenny running in a touchdown. I mean, AB, goal line. Every touchdown that they had was goal line. Maybe besides Leonard Fournette's, but...
No, the Bucs outplayed them 100%. I'm just saying that the scheme that they tried to do worked. They beat him on the ground, and they beat him with Rob Gronkowski, who pretended like he didn't know how to play.
Scheme worked? I'm confused now, because now you're saying their scheme worked, but then you're saying the Bucs players.
No, what are you talking about? I said the Buccaneers outplayed them, but the defensive scheme worked.
For the Chiefs?
Yeah.
I disagree.
They held their top 3 receivers to 60 whatever yards, 62 yards, whatever I just said.
If their defensive scheme worked, they wouldn't have given up 31 points.
No, because the same way that we lost in our sectional finals, we held the top scorers to whatever points. The freshmen came in and scored fucking 20. So that's what I'm saying. They won because Leonard Fournette had 89 and a touchdown. Ronald Jones had 61, and Rob fucking Gronkowski came in with 2 touchdowns. A guy that pretended like he didn't know how to play football all year. The biggest hoax ever. And now that you had your rant, I'm going on mine. You see in the title, the NFL is ruined. I have no hope. Year in, year out, Tom Brady, he's in the fucking Super Bowl, and guess what? He's not even just in the Super Bowl. He wins the Super Bowl. This is like if LeBron was on the Heat 20 seasons. How many fucking titles do you think they'd have if Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, all those guys stayed? More than 7 right now. Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowls is fucking terrible. Astronomically fucking egregious. I hate it. I have no hope anymore that my team will get a Lombardi trophy and bring it back home to where it all started. Why? Because this 43-year-old supermodel, sun lip kissing fuck is still in the league, taking all the Super Bowl trophies.
Austin, can we agree on this though?
What?
He's handsome for no reason.
He's fucking handsome. And my only takeaway from all this is that I get to be alive and witness the greatest football player of all time. And that's the only way I go to sleep at night. Cuddle up next to my Aaron Rodgers pillow and my Devontae Adams sheets. It's the only way I get any sleep at night. The only consolation. But it fucking sucks, Tyler, because like you said, you hope that it's those 2 teams in the Super Bowl next year. It probably fucking will be. And you know what's gonna happen in the group chat? Oh, Packers are frauds. Number 1 seed, losing the NFC championships. They fucking suck. Where's your team? Where are the Bears, Brendan? The fucking Jets? Brian can't even say shit to me. Oh, Dan says the Eagles won the Super Bowl more recently than the Packers. Yeah, they also have just as many Super Bowls as fucking I have a penis. All right, I'm done.
That was a I'll give that a 9.5 out of 10 rant. That was one of your best for sure.
I didn't even know where I was going. I was just letting my fucking
Your
hatred
emotions.
fueled
Yeah.
emotions on this Monday after, as Tyler said.
All right. So I'll go first on this question since we didn't really discuss this. What was your favorite play or favorite moment during the game? Mine, for sure, was when AB comes into the game, trots on the field, does a little nice route in and out, shakes his dude. I think he shook Matthew, who mentally was not in the game the whole entire game. He was being jawed at. He was being targeted at. A lot of penalties, like I said. But it's just good to see AB get back on the field. Super Bowl where he belongs. Long overdue. Catching that touchdown. I kind of wish I got a little, a little twerk action like he used to do with the Steelers. But
That would have been
that's neither
funny.
here nor there. How about you?
Um, my favorite moment of the game was when the streaker went out on the field / the halftime show. Other than that, everything that happened on the field between the two football teams, I didn't really enjoy too much. Tyler, before I lose this thought, you said Matthew's head wasn't really in the game. I wasn't even privy to this information, but Cody said it. I think it might have happened Saturday night, but a car accident involving Coach Andy Reid's son. Do you think that had any kind of mental, emotional impact on that whole locker room? Obviously, Andy Reid's thinking about it. And I mean, we're all talking here how the NFL and those teams, those guys are like brothers, they're a family. I mean, you get some kind of bad energy, an aura, a dark cloud in there. Do you think that kind of affected the whole team? Because I just think they didn't look like themselves.
No, I agree 100%. I didn't even know that. But I can see it now. I mean, you have to also understand they're playing in Tampa against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, they already have that against them. They're staying in the Hilton in downtown Tampa. You got Bucks fans probably blowing air horns out the hotel window, trying to keep them up all night, whatever the case may be. Everything is against the Chiefs in that moment. No, I mean, yeah, I do think that has a huge effect on it. And I know me and you both have a belief in energy, and
Oh yeah.
that definitely probably did have a bad energy. But on the grandest stage of them all, you can't be making mental mistakes like he was making. He almost got kicked out of the game. I was actually happy that Brady went up to him and was jawing at him because that's what competitors do. When they see someone that's weak, when they see someone that they can easily get a target against, they're gonna come after you. And it sucks to see that, especially with a guy like Matthew. Like, he's one of the best safeties in the league, hands down.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you gotta like that. I even said to the guys I was watching the game with, I was like, you got Tom Brady out there, 43 years old. He's already has 6 Super Bowls, and he's still fucking chirping in his ear. That was great.
I mean, one more thing. When I was watching the pregame, when Tom Brady was trotting down the sidelines and he gets his patented "Let's go," like screaming at the top of his voice. Yeah, he sounds like a teenage boy going through puberty, but still, my nipples were so hard when that had happened. I was ready to run through a brick wall for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, overall, obviously
not the game we expected.
Obviously the Packers not being in it, I was hoping it would be a good game, a shootout, a little bit closer overall, Tyler. I mean, it just wasn't even close the whole game. I mean, the Chiefs, they didn't even score a touchdown, right? They had 3 field goals.
0 touchdowns, which honestly,
pathetic. It's pathetic.
I mean, someone could have said that in the prop bet, like, oh, who's going to be the first player to score for the Chiefs? No one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of prop bets, you want to kind of go over what we said?
Yeah.
Prop bets.
You know who won it? Because I don't know if I won it. I just was super pumped about picking Gronkowski right to score first for the Bucks.
No.
I thought you wrote them down.
I did, but I'm trying to look at the results of everything.
Oh, I could tell you what it was.
All right.
Or I can try my hardest.
Let me find that prop. Oh, it's on the screen. Drag it out. Okay. So, coin toss. You got a little pen and pad? I don't know. Does it matter?
I'll do a tally.
You think he lost?
Oh, I definitely lost. I picked tails. Tails never fails.
Oh, for this, yeah, I was just saying to see who won overall. You said tails, I said head. Um, what was mentioned first? I think pandemic or COVID. I don't really know.
Honestly, I have no clue. I didn't even hear them say it once.
Yeah, we'll skip that for now. Gatorade color,
It was blue.
blue. Neither of us got it. Oh, I don't even remember what this was for. More or less, some kind of bet. We both said Arians for whose mask would come off first.
Whose coach you'd see the nostrils of first?
I don't think we saw either.
I think I saw Arians once, but that was in the second half.
Okay, so then we both got that one right. We both said the over, and that didn't hit. It's like 56 and a half, I think.
Holy shit,
so that wasn't even close. Patrick Mahomes' headband was white, so I got that right. You said red. First touchdown for the Chiefs. Neither of us got that right. Obviously, no one scored. Gronk, you got that for the Bucks. And I don't even know what the rest of these are. What was Tom Brady's first pass? Complete or incomplete? You said complete.
I want to say complete.
All right. I don't even know.
We'll call it a tie. I think it was a tie.
You were just happy about predicting the whole Gronk thing.
I mean, I've never gotten that right ever, and I've tried to do every prop bet in the Super Bowl.
So, I guess Nate, our good friend Nate, was there watching the Super Bowl with us. He told me that Pat McAfee bet $30,000 on the coin toss that it would be tails. So what does Nate do? He fades him. He bets 100 on heads and ends up hitting it.
How much did he win?
I mean, it had to be 50-50 odds, so he probably doubled his money.
Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, prior to this, we talked about your favorite moment being the halftime performance. We'll get into that right now. A lot of people, mixed reviews. I'll go into a little bit of the background of it. Obviously, The Weeknd performed at the halftime show. I don't know if you knew this, but he actually paid for it on his own dime, $7 million. Didn't even get paid to perform by the NFL. I'm sure he got paid in advertising by Pepsi and whatever. But I saw plenty of TikToks, of the backstory of his whole entire performance. I thought it was a wonderful performance. I thought he did incredible. I'm a huge Weeknd fan, though, so I'm probably a little bit biased. And I heard a lot of people saying it was boring, it wasn't good, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the best halftime show I ever saw, but I definitely would give it a B+ for sure.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I think his set was great. Like you said, anytime a guy is that committed to put up, $7 million of his own money to try to make sure this is a good performance, I thought it was cool. He had the stage set up at first, kind of the theme was supposed to go with the songs. I think they were switching that around. He went to the House of Mirrors or whatever, which is kind of an homage to his old mixtape. He went down on the field. I don't know how many of those guys were in the bandages around their faces and the red blazer, but there was a lot. Yeah, I mean, in recent years, I'm just thinking like Lady Gaga jumping in from the ceiling. And not a big Katy Perry fan, but when she rode in on that giant elephant thing a few years back, that was kind of crazy. I think he did a good job. Obviously, it's a little bit different, vibe, I guess you could say, without there being fans down on the field with him. Traditionally, they kind of just have a stage in the center. So I thought it was cool. He kind of made use of the whole stadium from the stands down to the field. I thought it was, pretty good.
I'll have to send you a TikTok I saw. It was very interesting. Basically, the theory is that The Weeknd started this back a whole year ago with pretending to be, bruised up from plastic surgery and then having the mask over at the AMAs and then posting on Instagram the fake cheekbones and shit like that. And then the performance at the Super Bowl. But no, I mean, any guy, you have to respect any guy that is paying his own money just to have his vision, so nobody else is, changing it from what he wants in his own mind.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, as far as from a guy, I mean, you and I are both kind of into the arts and the aesthetics of everything. I like, the whole backstory and that he can, keep it up for this long. Every time he's out in public, it's like, he's reconstructing his face. He's wearing the same outfit. But I'm definitely ready to see him wear something different than that red blazer. I gotta say.
I
I
was
mean,
saying I low key missed the dreadlocks so much. That was my favorite look for sure.
I thought, are you talking about the kind of wave that he had?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, where it was like one
I
over
thought that
there. It
was
was like
kind
a
of
tree
dope.
branch.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of dope, honestly. But overall, yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I Tom Brady MVP. It's just like there was no better option. I don't know. I don't. If he didn't have 3 touchdowns, I mean, the guy was 2 yards away from not even hitting 200 yards. To me, that shouldn't. I don't know. You got to put
It
up a
wasn't
little bit better stats than that.
it wasn't a defensive game or an offensive game though. It was purely defense. Obviously, the Bucks defense. If you could give MVP, you'd give it to Todd Bowles. Just for
Yeah.
having such an incredible scheme against the Chiefs. You can't give it to every single guy on the Bucks roster on defense, but they all played way better than Brady. But due to circumstances, obviously Brady was the best option. I think if Fournette scored one more touchdown, he probably would have got it because he played unreal. The
Yeah.
biggest question mark I think for the Bucks is who do you resign? You got guys on 1-year contracts that are up this year. Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, AB. Gronk is coming back.
I
They
mean,
say
Brady's on a year, right?
Brady's on a 2.
All right.
So Brady's going to be back next year for sure. I think Gronk is on a 1, but they're already considering signing him back. But I mean, you could probably look this up, but their restricted free agent list is going to be a little bit bigger. But they do, in their favor, have a lot of young guys that were rookies this year, 2-year guys that really stepped up and still have time on their contract. But I mean, long term, this Bucks team isn't going to be around for that much longer. So it's kind of like enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, anytime you got that many guys with that high of a payroll, I mean, I'm not sure what the deal is. Where Chris Godwin is at on his rookie contract, but that's got to be coming up. He's going to have to get paid. He's proven he can be a stud wide receiver in this league. Antonio Brown, he kind of showcased himself. He got a Super Bowl ring. He could probably get some good money somewhere in the offseason, so I'm not sure if he plans on sticking around. You kind of saw he stayed true to his word. He didn't really get any off the field trouble. He kind of stuck to the football field and everything. Did it the right way.
Are you ready?
If he gets a big contract thrown his way, I'm not sure he'll be able to turn that down.
This is I'm only gonna name like the key guys that are free agents this year for the Bucks. We got Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy, doesn't really matter. Chris Godwin, like you said, he's on his final year. Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. You got Shaq Barrett. That's a big sign. You need to sign him. Like the way he played in the Super Bowl, he was rushing the edge. He had a decent year all year. He's definitely the guy that you really need on the edge to make a difference. Ndamukong Suh, who had a big game. Raheem Nunez Roches, who is the backup to Sue, he played very well all year too. Levante David, who I said absolutely shut down Travis Kelce. I would say you'd have to sign him too. And maybe the MVP of the Bucks this year, Ryan Suckup. When's the last time the Bucks had a good kicker?
Right. I mean, they've kind of shuffled them in and out the past few years. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not going to be able to keep all of those guys, Tyler. But with that being said, I'm sure they could probably get some other veteran guys to come in for cheap. Something that I found out yesterday, which you might be aware of, obviously, but Florida doesn't charge for like salary tax or something of that nature, income tax. So Ndamukong Suh, I guess, kind of half the reason he wanted to go play for the Bucks was because they were in Florida and he wouldn't get as much taken out of his contract. So obviously everyone's going to want to play for them. They're coming off a Super Bowl win. Some veteran guys, they want to get a Super Bowl trophy. They're going to set their sights down in Tampa. So if they lose some guys, I'm sure they'll be able to bring some in as well.
I'm looking at because I wanted to see the Chiefs roster or the free agents. They actually have a lot on defense. I would be kind of scared if I was Andy Reid for your defense next year. On offense, they got Sammy Watkins, who's going to be a restricted free agent. But on defense, they have Daniel Sorensen, their starting safety, Brashard Breeland, who's some would say is a Pro Bowl cornerback. Um,
Not when he plays on the Packers.
yeah, right. They have Austin Reeder, their center, Kelechi Osemele, their guard, Mike Remmer, their right tackle, Kilgore, their center. I mean, shit, they actually have a lot of their offensive line too. Who's going to be protecting Patrick Mahomes? I mean, the $500 million man might have a $500 million bounty on his head next year
Yeah.
without anybody, protecting him.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting for sure. They've never really had those guys that were like big name defensive guys. I mean, Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu may be the top name guys, I guess, if you will, on the defensive side of the ball. They just kind of always had a good group there. I don't know, but like you said, they're gonna have to figure some stuff out in the offseason, whereas the Buccaneers, they kind of, like I said, they have guys that are going to want to go there, guys that are going to want to stay, maybe restructure a contract, something of that nature, move the money around a little bit. Because right now they're thinking, why not us? Why can't we repeat? That was the Chiefs' mindset last year. That's kind of why they went all in. But there's a lot of question marks going on, definitely in Kansas City right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm obviously looking in the draft, trying to find the best defensive players, maybe even the best offensive linemen. Because I know you're not going to sign a lot of those guys back with some of the weapons that they have and how much they're paying them. I knew for a fact when they signed Patrick Mahomes for $500 million over 10 years, it was going to be slim pickings after that. Like, they were going to have to choose between Kelsey or Hill maybe at one point, or they would have to choose between, defensive players or offensive linemen. I mean, honestly, if they can't get the same defense back next year, how are you going to even consider them for the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I mean, so now that we're on this topic, I decided to pop up the top free agents of the upcoming season. Number 1, Dak Prescott, Chris Godwin's there, Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, Trent Williams. I mean, there's a guy that could potentially fill a hole on the line there. Justin Simmons, Anthony Harris, Levante David, couple more defensive guys. Hunter Henry, Will Fuller. So not really too many big names, Tyler. Shaquille Barrett, there he is. William Jackson.
Obviously the biggest one is Deshaun Watson.
Richard Sherman. Well, he's not technically a free agent though, right?
Correct. But given the circumstances.
Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, honestly, this could be one of those years, Tyler, where it's like, some of these guys might have to get paid because there's no Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski's, out here in free agency. There's, Corey Linsley, the center for the Packers. Hopefully he's back in the green and gold next year. But, maybe some guys where if it was a more coveted offseason full of free agents, they might not have gotten paid that much. But
there's a lot of wide receivers out there, though. That's very interesting because I feel like typically – wide receiver is a diva position, and you don't usually see, a loaded free agency with wide receivers. They usually get re-signed like right away. I think it's going to be interesting though to see where Chris Godwin goes if they re-sign him on the Bucs because they have so many weapons. Do they really need Chris Godwin? They have guys like Tyler Johnson on their bench that some say is one of the best pass catchers in the league.
Right.
He's like 6'4". He caught a ball against the Packers that if he didn't catch that, they might not even won that game because it was for a first down in the fourth quarter. So a lot of free agency is going to be interesting. Obviously, we're going to talk about it on the No Look podcast just because we love football so much. It's just a necessity to us.
Yeah, we'll find a way, even in the midst of March Madness, to somehow bring it up football. Tyler, I'm just looking up the stats real quick because I had a question for you. We're talking about Chris Godwin's a free agent. So for this season, 2020, Chris Godwin, he played 12 games. Where are the yards? He had 840 yards, 7 touchdown receptions. On the other side, Mike Evans, he played all 16 games, so he had 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. I was going to say, is there any debate or conversation to be had about maybe, Mike Evans getting up there in age, moving away from him and trying to make Chris Godwin the premier guy?
I mean, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin aren't that far in age. I think Mike Evans is obviously one of the best, probably top 10 receivers in the league. That might be generous to say. He does have that sneaky speed, though. I think Chris Godwin, and I'm just watching the Bucs, following him throughout the whole entire season. He just played so much better with Jameis Winston, and I think that's why a lot of people have high regards to him, because he had 100 catches with Jameis Winston, over 1,000 yards. I think he had over 10 touchdowns with Jameis Winston the year before. I just don't think Godwin and Brady really connected that well. If I'm Brady, I'm looking at keeping Evans, keeping Gronk, keeping AB, maybe adding someone that is already on the roster. I just don't see a place for Godwin in this Bucs team right now. I love him. He's a Penn State great. I just think that the Bucs, he's disposable to them. Kind of like Levante David, honestly, too. If I'm the Bucs, I would put Shaq Barrett over Levante David at linebacker in priority, just on age alone. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like 6 years of difference.
No, Tyler, I mean, excuse me. We're talking about he might not fit in the Buccaneers offense. I'll tell you one place he would definitely fit in is up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I mean, I won't even talk about it. I'll let you talk. How do you think the Packers improve if they add a secondary receiver like Chris Godwin? I mean, you got Devontae Adams, one of the top 3 easily. Like, that's not even a bias of Pittman. He's a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Robert Tonyan came on this year. They have MVS as a deep threat. They have some weapons. Aaron Jones, they should re-sign him this year. Like, does Chris Godwin propel them to the best team in the NFC, or are you still looking at the Bucs?
No, I mean, if I'm the Packers, I'm fucking splurging some cash in this free agency.
They need to. They really do.
You said 3 players that I could see on the Packers fitting in really well. Not only Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, and Will Fuller. Will Fuller, I think, would be the best option for the Packers. Granted, he does get injured all the time, but I think if I'm the Packers, I'm looking at one of 2 of the Penn State greats, Allen Robinson and Chris Godwin. I mean, I think Allen Robinson might be too similar to the play style of Devontae Adams in like that shifty receiver possession.
He's a route runner. Yeah. He's a more goal line oriented guy.
Where Godwin's the guy that comes underneath and catches the last of screen passes or slants. I think Godwin, if I'm him and the Bucs can't re-sign me, I'm thinking obviously the Packers. Of course, you want to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I might even consider the Falcons too. I would want to play with Matt Ryan, opposite of Julio Jones with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a little too much. The Falcons have a lot of question marks on their roster right now. But Tyler, I mean, like you said, he's a little bit more of an athletic guy, kind of getting the seams. I mean, I look at him as like a Randall Cobb 5.0. The things that Randall Cobb could do on the inside because Jordy Nelson was, opening up on the outside. I mean, Chris Godwin, that would be phenomenal. They get Devin Funchess back next year. Whew. I'm getting, hitting the desk right now. That's not my hand, T.
Whoa. Is that a handgun?
Hey, whoa. You happy to see me?
Obviously, though, that's not discounting that I would absolutely love Chris Godwin on the Raiders.
No.
I don't think it's going to happen. The Raiders are going to go after defense. That's what we need.
Yeah, they'll re-sign Aguilar and
Hey, Aguilar had a great year.
Darren Waller is their guy.
Darren Waller, number 1 tight end in the league. You heard it here first. Next year, he's going to lead the league in stats for tight ends. Guaranteed.
I'll bet you $100 right now.
No.
You're not that confident in your guy.
I mean,
all right, no, we'll retouch that.
If he's healthy all year, I would consider that.
Yeah, but
I would hate to bet and then he gets injured like first week.
That's part of it, though.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wouldn't do it, because it's bullshit.
So that's pretty much the majority of the football talk. One more thing I think we wanted to get into regarding the Super Bowl is the commercials, Tyler. I'm not sure what you thought. I thought they were a little lackluster this year. I know Budweiser was one of the companies that decided to pull out of paying for their, traditionally annual commercials. You see those Clydesdale horses and whatnot. They decided to put their money, I believe, to donate to, people in need of relief as far as the pandemic goes. The one that stuck out to me, obviously, just because of the sheer nature of who was in it, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Pat Mahomes, you got Paul Rudd, and you got Drake. I mean, I'm not sure what you think, but that to me was the best commercial of the night.
I really like the one with Wayne's World and Cardi B.
Yep.
That one was hilarious, I thought. And then the one with was it Cedric the Entertainer? No, it was Anthony Anderson. The one with Anthony Anderson against his mom in flag football.
Oh, yeah, and they had Travis Kelce.
Hilarious.
Yeah. No, but Cedric the Entertainer was in like a Pepsi commercial, I believe.
The Bud Light one with
Bud Light. Post Malone, yep. Yeah, I mean, it was decent. I don't know. Did you see a Doritos?
Usually, they had one with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, someone did mention that when we were watching the game. I think I went for a bathroom break, but
I mean, let's be honest though. The ideas over the years, obviously the Super Bowl commercials back in the day, maybe we're being a little bit biased or, we've seen them, but there's only so many ideas that you can do. And I feel like back in the day, they were always, spending hours on commercials. And now it's just like, let's pay for 30 seconds and hope people will still purchase after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with social media. Obviously, the Super Bowl there's going to be people watching that no matter what, so you can't really flop. It's not going to be a bad investment. The price that it costs you to get in for a time slot of that is kind of astronomical. But all these companies, if you got it, why not?
But, yeah, I mean, I thought they were decent. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to the commercials because usually when the commercials came on, that usually either means pee break, food break, or get yourself another beer. And I was doing it for free.
Yeah, no, I had to maintain the drinking. Got drive.
What was your drink of choice last night?
Some Claws.
Nice. I had Corona Premier.
Watching the calories.
Yes, they're very smooth. I mean, honestly, if I could sponsor Corona Premier, I would. You put a nice lime in there. It always tastes like summer, but it also makes you feel lean and not bloated like a typical Corona does.
Yeah, no, that was my go-to summer drink when I was still drinking beer.
I don't know if you remember, but the No Look podcast back in March or April when we were talking about, I think it was April when we were talking about Corona being shut down because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh, look how far we've come.
Yeah. Full circle.
Yeah.
I know they weren't going to completely flop.
No, I mean, it's impossible. There's a whole country of Mexicans and half of Florida. So there's just no way Corona ever flops.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else? I think we kind of hit the nail on the head. A little bit of a short-ish episode. We didn't hit the 1 hour, but we're going to come right back with the Monday Night Gaming.
Yes, sir. Follow us on TikTok at No Look Podcast. Follow ACWeezy on Instagram at ACWeezy.
Of course.
Follow me on Instagram at Tyler Hayes 12. You'll see us in the next time slot. Refresh your Twitch stream because we'll be back playing. What are we playing?
Did we say Warzone? Did we agree on that?
I think we're rocking dubs. I'm feeling a little bit cracked today. I don't know about you.
Ooh, all right. PKM is coming out to play tonight, baby. Aha. All right, make sure you guys stick around. We'll be right back.
Love you.